Hey everyone, it's Jason. Welcome to Railroad Tiles. This is the Canal Expansion. So this is going to add some extra fun new tiles and objectives into the game. So we will have our different punch boards in here. We have 8 different punch boards, so we'll have our various canals we can add around there with fields and city, town stuff. We're going to have some other different things in there as well as some connecting ports. We'll definitely see what all those do. So let's go ahead and take a look at what's in here. There's 44 canal route tiles, 12 canal objective tiles. So more objectives to do. 33 canal end tiles, so you can end them. 13 gondola pawns. So we'll have our little gondolas. We have 15 bridges. And then we have a big bag to put all our tokens into. Additional setup. Shuffle all the canal route tiles inside the expansion bag. Add the gondola piles, bridge pawns, and canal end tokens to the general pool. So round setup. When you're revealing route tiles, you must follow a predetermined mix from the core game bag and expansion bag. Each column will contain as many tiles as number of squares. So basically, except for the fourth set, you're always going to add one expansion. That one you add 2. So if someone really wants expansion stuff, they'll go for that one first. Then they only get 3 tiles. But yeah, this way it keeps it balanced, because that way you make sure you get enough of the core stuff to still be able to place your roads and your different turns and your 4-ways and stuff. But you have options to get at least a couple of the other ones here or there. So canal tiles have an empty sides, which works like any other side, or canal sides, and they could have a gondola point. Canal tiles identified by the presence of canals are a new type of route. In addition to empty sides, highway sides, and railroad sides, they also have canal sides. These can be connected to other canal sides or to an empty side. See canal placement on the next page. Alright, so if you connect the canal side to an empty side, you must immediately place a canal end token. Canal ends allow you to close canal openings, which affect the number of openings counted at the end of the game. So it's just super helpful. So if you connect any of them together, that way you have it closed off, so it's not running into, so you don't have an empty canal. Pawn placement. For each placement token in the active area, you may place one gondola on any tile that has a maximum pinpoint instead of the one indicated by the token itself. When you place a gondola in the canal, you immediately score 1 point plus 1 for each bridge over the same canal. So this one's going to work a little bit differently. The other ones, you have to wait until you see a picture of a car. You get to place the car. You see a traveler, you place the traveler. So each time you play, for each placement token in active area, you may play one gondola pawn in any tile that has a matching empty pinpoint instead of the one indicated by its token. So instead of placing a traveler somewhere, you can place gondolas instead. Bridge placement. Some of the tiles on the route path interrupted by a canal. When both ends of the interrupted path are connected together, tiles, you must immediately place a bridge over the completed path. So I like you automatically get to do this. So if there's ever a bridge, it'll be on there. So like this one here is going to show that it has a little like lines over it where the bridge will go. But it only happens when you connect something to the other side. So if I had this tile, I had a canal there, nothing happens until I place this. At that point, that road just drives right into the canal. Then when I place this one, I connect the bridge over it. And then when you place a gondola down, you get a thing for every bridge it has to go over. Cool. So end of game scoring. Each group of consecutive tiles connected by a canal segment forms a canal. Each canal scores 1 prestige point for each canal tile it included beyond the second. Canal opening penalties. Canal openings contribute to the total number of openings together with highways and railroads when the calculating the opening penalties at the game. So if you don't connect them to an empty space, then they're going to count. So the total number of openings, highways, and railroads and canals is 8. 3 more than allowed by the 5 points, because you got road, railway, road. So that's 4, and you have a 5th one down here because we have 3 canals you didn't give me. Canal A on the left has a total of 6 tiles. and Canal B only has 2 tiles. So this one is 1, 2. This one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Doesn't matter if they end or not, but you connect these 6 together. So that's a fun thing to do. It's just, this kind of reminds me of back to the old Railroad Inc. game that came up before. We had to draw stuff. Where you also got points for all your roads and railways that were connected by the longest as well. So this gives you another option there to earn extra points for earning each one. So each one be on the second. So as long as it's not a 2 point, so since it was 6 tiles, you got -2 and it gets 4. That's also a fun thing, I think, if you do just the highways and stuff you can do too. And then we'll have our objectives we'll look at in just a minute. We have the Tourist Plaza, the Watermill, and the Dodge Tower. And then we have our solo challenges. So our solo challenge says, tourist season, every gondola in your player is part of a single orthogonal adjacent group. So up, down, left, right. Canal City, have at least one city completely surrounded by canals. Or the Locks, have at least one canal with 7 or more canal ends. So that'd be really interesting solo stuff to do. So you're not fighting for other tiles, you have a better option to do this. So let's go ahead and look at the tiles. Alright. So we have our little gondolas and bridges here again. We have 13 gondolas and 15 bridges, which hopefully should be more than enough. They're screen printed, which look really cool. Make them, again, they didn't have to be if they're just plain whatever colors. You definitely be able to tell what they are, but they definitely help having them that way. Then the other thing we have is we have our canal closers, and they're double-sided. So like one side has kind of like a little like I don't know, port or town, and then the other one's just kind of like an end. So that's nice. And we have 33 of those, so we have plenty of those to go around. And then how are those going to look? So if we have whatever thing, so instead of actually being like that, they're actually go on the tile, like, you could kind of like overlap them onto an empty tile. But the idea would be like, if you run this into that, and then you could place it directly on top like that if you wanted to, or you could have it come down and cover it. It might depend on where it is. But yeah, so it's really neat that it's just a fun mechanic to cover up those things. Again, I'll talk about the Ink game where you had to draw everything, and there'd be stuff where sometimes you had to like draw, close off things, and stuff like that. And I think it's a really neat little idea to just have tokens for that. All right. So we're going to hop through all our different tokens here. So we have a 4-way canal that's in the empty areas. We have one with a town. So if you want to do a town for that. We have some L shapes here. So reverse sides are always going to be the same, so I'm not going to show those. But we do have some different artworks on these, which is always fun. So we have some L shapes. We have a couple of straightaways. We have some T's. And then for the towns, we have this very similar thing. We have L shapes. Or corners, rather. We have the straightaways. And then we have some T's. So those are our basic ones there. And then we're going to have a bunch that are kind of empty as well, but they have the canal spots. So these, we have some that look alike. So we have 2 copies of that one, and we have 2 copies of this one. But those will have the canal, or the gondola spots on them. And then the same way we'll have 2 of this artwork for the straight. I suppose you can flip them the other way, and 2 of that artwork for that one. And then we'll have 2 of that one. And 2 of that one. And then the last one we have that's kind of bare we have the 4-ways. And we have 2 copies of that 4-way there. So yeah, very, very cool for all the blank canal areas we have. But what would it be without having more railroads? So we do have a town where they can go through. Again, a little dotted line there for where a bridge can go through. But we have 1 for a railroad. And we have 1 for a regular road. That's where kind of get the theme of here. We have a Y-shaped one for a railroad. That's nice. So like the little bridge will just kind of sit right there across that little spot. And then we have one with a curved road and a curved canal. We have the curved one here, there in the field, but this one has a traveler. And then we have two of them, which have the railroads. And we'll have the same idea for the roads, the cars. We have one with a traveler. And we'll have two of them with the car on there. And then we do the same thing for the straightaway. We have a straight with a traveler. And two with the car. And a straight railroad. And then two with the railroad. So those are all of our different main tiles. So let's take a look at our objectives. So we're going to start with this one. This is the Tourist Plaza. And all these are always the same, all four of them, so one for each player. Alright, so what does this one say here? It says, Tourist Plaza must have at least two gondolas on tiles that surround it. So one of them other tiles has to have a gondola. So obviously, like, if it makes sense to probably do, like, gondolas around this, like, canals around that way. But you could go through and have a loop around the other direction if you really wanted to. We have, pick these up, we have the water mill. Little water wheel there, it's pretty cool. So this one says, the water mill must be part of a canal loop. That path returns to its starting point, passing through each canal segment only once. So it has to be part of a full loop. It returns to its starting point. So you could go like, they show going all the way around like this, but you could probably just go down around to that one because it's still connecting all the way through. That's pretty fun. This is also one thing I say, it'd be fun to look at the objectives is, now there's not enough to have each person have their own. You could, but then some people might have some for this, some might have some one way just for the core, unless you're playing a 3-player game. But what would also be fun for this would be having a player start with one of these tiles out. Now you know okay, this is what I'm kind of going for. My goal is to have canal, or have gondolas with the one. This one I'd be going to try and have, just make them canals around that. So I think that'd be kind of a fun little add-on to the expansions. Here we have Dodge's Tower. So that's probably a famous tower. If we flip it over so you can actually see what it looks like, that might help. Dodge's Tower must have at least one bridge in its row and one and/or column in each of two different directions at any distance. So it has to have at least one bridge in its row and/or column at least two different directions. So you could have one bridge this way, one this way, but you can't have 3 bridges on this side and still have it count. So yeah, it's kind of interesting that makes you play with them extra little things. So that is what we have for the Canal Expansion. So yeah, some neat little mechanics in there, having the new canals, adding some different railways, makes the town look a little bit different. Like always, they say you're not supposed to really mix the expansions together. I think partly because it would be too much, and maybe just because of the round number, you might not get through enough stuff. But again, you can always do a weird mix and matching more stuff. If you ever do combine this, though, remember that canals and lakes are not the same thing. But that's what we have for this video. Check out the link in the descriptions for the rest of the videos. See you guys later. Bye.